Hi, and welcome to Season 2 of Big Sound Small Town, the podcast that spotlights the talented and diverse musicians in small towns and communities. This season we're branching out to include the community of people who make it possible for musicians to be able to perform their music, the producers, the recording engineers, the venue owners, and many others, and as always, the small town musicians. Remember, small town doesn't mean small talent. Hear their stories. I brought Omar to the Earl Scruggs Center to talk about music, specifically his ability to play percussion, and that he is the only percussionist I've had on the show. But I brought him here for more than that. Omar is a man that people need to know. He's a community leader. He's a mentor. He is a coach. He runs a podcast. Former college football player, and just a fine individual. And we had a really good talk that day, and it's more than just music. Today on Big Sound Small Town, we're in the historic Earl Scruggs Center in Shelby, North Carolina, and my guest is percussionist Omar Porter. Welcome to the show, Omar.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. Now, let's talk football a minute.
Let's do it.
This is a music show, but musicians and athletes actually go a lot hand in hand.
No question.
It's a timing thing.
That's
for people
right.
that don't understand.
Yeah.
And in your case with the percussionist, it's beating on people's heads.
That's right.
How's Crest going to be?
Well, I think we coming back. Got a lot of guys coming back, and guys going to get healthy. So we'll just take it from there. Got to coach the guys up, and
Tim Ruff coming back.
Oh yeah, he'll be there. That kid right there, one of the exciting kid to watch. I mean, one of the best I've seen in a while.
And with the national championship game coming up, I say there's some Chargers, a couple Chargers on that team.
Yeah,
too.
We got a couple Chargers down there. Going to I think it's New Orleans.
Yeah.
To the game, so we're definitely gonna be supporting those guys. So
That's
it's
good.
Always good to watch our guys.
It is, I agree.
Oh yeah.
All right, now we're gonna get to the real deal.
Okay.
You been on stuff all your life?
Pretty much.
I mean, can you take us back to when you started thinking that you might do something in the music deal?
Yeah, so I think my mom was a drummer. So my grandparents raised me, but my mom was a drummer, and I used to hear that a lot. And I actually, heard her play a couple times when I was younger. But so I think I definitely got that from her.
It's just in it.
Yeah, so it was just kind of in me, and I'm left-handed just like she is.
Oh, really?
I play everything. Well, when I play congas, I play left-handed. When I play drums, I play right-handed.
Okay.
But one of the first memories I got of playing is playing on a 5-gallon bucket in my backyard with some tree branches.
That's
we
cool,
would take the branches off and break the tree limbs, and that's how I really started, beating. And they always tell me when I was younger I used to beat on pots and pans too. So
That's probably true.
yeah.
But it sounds like there's support there. They wasn't hollering. They wasn't hollering, "Omar, quit doing that," did they?
No. When I really started getting into it too, like, because I started playing like at 9, 10, and then I started playing percussion at 12.
Okay.
And my grandfather had bought me a keyboard, And he brought me a keyboard, but I never touched the keys on it. It had a drum pad on it.
Oh yeah.
And so
you just drum pad.
I played the drum pad, never touched the keys,
That's
you know.
Cool.
And at my church, I grew up at Walls Memorial Church out in Lido, and they brought a drum set, and just sat the set down and was like, okay, play them. And then a couple years later, they bought a set of congas, and sat them down and said, okay, play them. And that's kind of how it started. Yeah.
So you remember the first time? I mean, I guess in the church. That was the first time you played in front of people.
Yep. First time playing in front of people was in my church, Walls Memorial.
Was that scary?
Yeah. It was, but I guess I'll say it was scary because you want to keep time and you don't want to mess up. And I'm a young drummer, so I know I was playing loud and you want to roll and do all this stuff, and I probably messed up 1,000 times.
Did
but
you keep the time right?
I don't know if I did. I probably sped it up some when I was younger. Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure I did that day.
So the first time was on drums.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's why I started with drums, and then eventually went over to congas. Like I said, my church brought the drum set, and I started playing those. And then my pastor's son, Leon Craig, I guess he found a pair of congas somewhere and bought them for the church.
Right.
And they was like, all right, play those. And so then I slid over there, me and a couple other church members, Ashley Poston and a couple guys, we started playing those, man. It was cool.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
So did you start listening to people that played them?
Drums not right off, but even with congas, that didn't really happen until I was like 18 or 19. I started listening to the Afro-Cuban All-Stars.
Yeah, okay, that's a great place to learn from.
And that, that's when I started listening to that. That's what kind of changed my thought process. But I grew up listening to guys, and it's crazy in the Light Oak community. Guys that I learned from was Byron Brown, Ricky McClooney, the Boykins boys out in Lido, like all that area of Lido. Everybody was playing percussion. They were playing congas.
Yeah.
I mean, and it was just crazy. But I watched those guys first, so those would be the first guys that I watched. And Byron really kind of drilled me a lot on some stuff. My first time playing, when I got a little older, and he was like the guy.
Oh yeah.
And I was playing set, and I was doing all this stuff and swinging my hands and doing all this fancy stuff, and I was sweating. And he walked up to me and said, "Omar, why you sweating?" He like, you're doing too much. So I learned a lot from him. So.
And there is that is something that doesn't matter your instrument. You can do too much.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it.
I mean, you got to leave room for other people, and that's a hard lesson for people to learn.
Yeah.
And usually it takes another musician to point that out.
Exactly. And
you can't fix that yourself usually.
That's right.
That's how. I'll say, when you practice and play by yourself, that stuff's cool and fun. But then when you're with somebody else, like, hey man, there's no space here.
That's right.
But bass players and keyboard, when you have like an organ or a keyboard player. The bass players all don't play them low end notes, bro. Those are mine.
Yeah, those are yours.
So, I don't know. So,
yeah.
That's pretty cool that you had people to help you along and to tell you stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, help me out.
And then the Afro-Cuban All-Stars. Well, if I was going to learn, if I was looking for a place to learn all about those beats and rhythms, that's a perfect place to go.
Yeah, listen to that stuff, and then I was listening to Tito Puente. And, and start listening to percussionists called Candido and Potato and Giovanni Higaldo. I started listening to a lot of that stuff and like, wait a minute, these dudes are doing some crazy stuff. So I started kind of studying their patterns and how they did a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's also it's hard to get to play that around here or actually see people to do that.
No question.
I mean because that's all basically sitting to Latin music.
Right. Right.
Which is fabulous stuff, but you don't get much exposure to it around here.
Right. And so that's what it's like. I had the best of both worlds because I had the guys that I looked at, the Byron Browns and those guys that I learned from the church setting from.
Right.
And then I'm listening to this other stuff and kind of as I got older, I kind of and they did it too though, and I kind of just gelled it together like they did.
Well, I mean, so many people doesn't matter the instrument, doesn't matter where they grew up. Church winds up making a lot of musicians.
Oh, no question. No question. I remember when I was Mark Wood from the Trans-Siberian Orchestra came and played at Shelby High, and he was coming in and they wanted me to play, come and possibly play with them, and he was playing some of the music, and I was just listening to it and kind of playing with it, and the change happened. I never heard the song before, but I felt the change coming, and he was kind of like, man, how do how do you know that change come? I was like, man, that's church.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you learn that in church. You feel that spirit, you feel that change coming, and it's kind of, you know, with the music. So
Well, that's like too in church. Now, not all of them. You ever been to I get in trouble here, but you ever been to a Presbyterian church?
yeah,
They ain't had a new song since like 1300. So there's not a lot. There's not a lot of carryover there. But you know, that's another thing too. Playing in church, you learn when to play louder and when to play softer. You know, to kind of support the whoever you're backing,
Right.
whether it is a preacher, whether it is a singer. I mean, you know, that's where you learn about
That's right.
the dynamics.
that's exactly right.
You know,
exactly
and
right.
you'll notice that people that's done that, they know when to put the emphasis on something or when to pull it away.
Yep.
Church is a good place to learn.
That's right. When I was playing drums and at Walls Memorial and Pastor Nathaniel Craig, like I just had that connection with him. Like when he was, you know, he'd do his little hoot a little bit.
Yeah.
I knew when to do stuff, when not to do stuff. You know, when to pull up and when to pull back. You know, so you're exactly right.
That's what makes a good band member, though, when you learn that.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things that you have to do it to learn it.
Yep. That's right.
You know, I mean, it's not something that you can teach yourself so well. Plus, you know, that's all pretty good place to learn.
Yeah. No doubt.
A lot less pressure there too.
right.
You know?
Right.
I mean, you can get by with some mistakes there a little better than you can, and you know that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So then, all right? So we're a young child. Well, okay, we're moving into school age. You know, you start playing out anywhere, or are you still playing at church?
Well, when I got into school, hey, I was just straight, you know, at church.
Right.
At church, I really didn't start playing out of church a lot until I'd probably say in the last few years. I was, and I always credit these guys for, but I was playing out some places. But what really put me out there, a friend of mine, Brian Howes, we grew up together, and a friend of mine, Larry Watson. Eric Bryce, guitar player. Eric was doing a thing called a Java Bean of the Experience in Mount Holly, and I knew Eric because his son Evan, who was an amazing musician, and Eric is like a beast guitar player. But all these musicians would get together in Mount Holly and go to the Java Bean.
Oh, okay.
And I mean, like musicians from everywhere. If they were in the area, they would drop in. And Brian, I always credit them, but Brian Howes and Larry was like, "Hey man, come with us to the thing." And I brought my stuff with me, and I walked in, and got caught up with Eric again. And Eric's like, "Hey man, you got your stuff?" And I had my stuff in the car and kind of went in, and then
That's kind of the start of it.
And so from that point is where being on that platform with them, musicians and artists would come in and be like, "Oh, you play percussion? Hey, can I use you on this?
Exactly.
Can I use you on that?" And that's how.
The
So
community.
So that
Was
community.
that like a jam? Was it like a jam?
It was a structure. It was a jam, but it was a structured
Structured
jam.
jam.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
it was a structured jam. So just doing that, but that right there kind of started taking me over
that's
the top.
another thing. Music's community. You got to have a lot of people that it a lot of times comes down to who you know.
That's right.
People don't learn. That's something else too.
Yeah.
You can't get in school.
Yep.
You got to learn that. You got to know the people.
Got to know them, and so like I said, but those experiences kind of like start taking me out further. But then like playing outside of my churches, when church go to other churches, I would get with my playing with my friend Dwayne McClooney and Kevin Dewberry and all the people from Walls Memorial. Like we would go to other churches and play.
Right.
Then people would hear you play.
Right.
And so I just learned a lot from doing that. But playing with Eric and those guys has helped me do everything that I'm doing up to this day.
Yeah, you got a lot of stuff going on these days too, don't you?
It's pretty good. I've been blessed. Sometimes I just think, man, I'm a little boy from Light Oak, learn how to play some drums on, beating on 5-gallon buckets and playing at places that I never thought I would play.
Yeah, I mean, you play some pretty good gigs. I've seen the stuff, man.
Yes.
And I guess because the nature of it, 90% of what you play is jazz.
Well, it goes back and forth. I mean, I play with Clay Crotts,
know Clay.
when Clay Crumbs. I mean, in the past, I played with him. It's a variety of music,
That's good.
But a lot of it, you can't say some of it's like jazz, but gospel or whatever. But whatever they call me for, I listen to it and I learn it and play it.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna be playing with Ronnie Laws and Cy Smith in new place called Middle Sea Jazz in Charlotte at the end of January. So that's gonna be, he's a jazz guy, you know. So it's exciting.
You get to I don't guess you ever get to play any Latin music though, do you?
Not often. Not often.
Much of it around.
Yeah,
I mean, I love that stuff.
And they got some stuff in Charlotte. A friend of mine, Daniel Rodriguez, him and his dad, they have a band, and so they do a lot of good stuff. I kind of follow them, like just watching them and stuff. But a lot of times when I'm playing that stuff, I kind of play on my own and just learn and listen, practice to the rhythms and stuff. But I don't get to play it a whole lot.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't think anybody does.
But I think it's embedded in my style of play, though.
Right.
Even
I think it is. I mean, it'd be kind of hard. Since
yeah.
I mean, it's. I'm an upright bass player, but I don't get to do that a whole lot either.
Yeah.
And I don't get to do it I don't get to do it in a jazz situation because there's just not a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of it doing.
Hopefully we can change that. Bring some stuff around.
That would be good. Shelby's getting some. Well, they kind of play the same stuff here.
Yeah, but we like I say, I've been talking with some friends, and I mean a lot of my musician friends that I play with out in different places. I've really been talking to them about coming to this area and playing some stuff.
It's used to, man. There was no place to play in Shelby. Mm-hmm. It's a little opened up now.
It has. No doubt. I love playing home whenever I'm asked to play. I love playing here.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's so much better in the last 10 years than I mean, used to you couldn't play in Shelby. You just had to leave and play elsewhere.
Right. I mean, I think about one of my biggest influences, Carlos McSwain, passed away, drummer. He was from here, but playing. But then once he got out of here, just took over the world.
He did. I mean, he took it to the big level.
He took it, man. That guy right there, I learned so much from him. Even though he was younger than me, but I learned so much from him.
Learn from a guy like that. He was incredible.
Oh yeah, he inspired a lot of us to push. Outside of the push outside of the limit, you don't have to stay here. We seeing him on TV and seeing him touring and stuff, and that really changed and a lot of our lives and motivated the musicians.
To move it out farther.
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing too, because there again, you get stuck here. But that's kind of part of what this is.
Yeah.
Just because you're not on a national stage, got nothing to do with your ability.
That's right.
So there's 100 reasons people stay. In a small town, in a small area, none of it's got to do with talent.
Right.
Because this place is full of talent.
Full of it. Oh, yeah.
Full of it.
Full. There's so much talent.
The kind of music you want to talk about. There's somebody here doing as good as they doing it anywhere you want to go.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, when I was at Gardner Webb, and going to church or going to do different music events, and all my friends would always say, and they were from other places. They were from Georgia. They were from Cali. Different places. And they'd be like, Omar, this place has so much talent in it. I mean, they would always say from sports to music,
that too,
just everything. It's like, Omar, man, this area is it's got so many talented people. I'm like, yeah, that's just what it is.
It's kind of like God bless this place.
Yeah, he did. He did. Yeah, there's something in the water around here.
I mean, there's small places like this don't have that much talent, and it goes from sports to music to
to that's right.
Just about any other way you want to go.
Right. When people start talking about sports, on Facebook or different things, you see people arguing about sports, and Cleveland County, we're smaller, so it's like, y'all play, y'all not as big as us or whatever. And I'm like, if you're looking at the numbers and what we have done in this area, even in sports versus these bigger places, it ain't even close.
And you would not want us to have a big high school because they would Cleveland County kill whatever high school you had.
I tell people sometimes, if they combine, a couple of the schools, and I'll just say because we're closer, Shelby and Crest together, and some people I don't even know if I would have played sometimes just because of how much, and I ain't taking a knock on myself, but it's just so much talent.
There is. I mean, I agree. It would be. It would be.
It would be crazy. We'd be ranked nationally every year.
Sure. I mean, and you talk about famous musicians coming from here. There's plenty of famous athletes come from here too. So I mean,
that's right.
It's not like they've all stayed here too.
Right.
I mean, they weren't just local heroes. They've taken it to pick a sport. There's somebody.
Yeah. No doubt. And you even think some of those athletes are musicians in there,
True,
right? I mean, another one. I mean, I just speak on Manio Mitchell. Manio is a huge music guy, but you got those.
Jonathan Stewart for the Panthers, he was a huge music
no
guy
question.
Too,
Christian McCaffrey plays,
exactly.
keys and piano and stuff. So it's
it's one of those things that people don't know that either.
Yeah.
Of course, musicians know it because they're musicians.
Right.
And it's like, it's pretty cool when you find out a musician, a sports person is a musician.
Yep. Uh-oh.
Yeah. Every time I come here, it rains.
Well, hey, guess we need a little bit.
I guess. So, well, I do appreciate. What else do I need to know? Okay, I'll ask you this.
Yeah, sure.
You available for work? People hire you to play?
Mm-hmm.
They just hook you up.
A lot of people just. I mean, that's kind of how it goes for me. Like, a lot of people ask me, you know, oh, do you play with this band? I mean, I'm not really with a set band.
Right.
I know it's a lot of bands I play with, which I love playing with them. You know, but you know, whenever somebody call me, and that's kind of how they do too. Like, you know, and it's, a lot of times it's with budget and different stuff like that.
I do know.
Oh yeah. But if they have a budget for percussionists, they'll, you know, put me in and call me a lot. You know, playing with Java and different different bands and stuff.
Get you some work out of this. Maybe somebody call you up and get you some work out of
this. Let's do it.
Well, I know you came a long ways, and I appreciate you coming down and doing this, man.
I appreciate it. I thank you for what you're doing,
well,
you know, for spotlighting the area. You know, that's something that's much needed.
It is, and everybody should go out and see him somewhere. You know, it'll be worth your time.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.